We're out here in the shop today getting ready to start on this boat. Got my fan set up in the door back there, got the front door open, so hopefully as I start sanding on this it'll suck the dust kind of out the back. Gonna get ready to start sanding all this gel coat off so we can try the fiberglass again. I got some packages in the mail, which should be my new. I got some more cloth and some different resin. So we'll see what's in here. Well, the arrows definitely weren't pointing up in the box, so that's good. With Total Boat epoxy, just because it has these pump handles on it, so it's a lot easier to mix. Instead of having to try to measure it on the cup, you just you give it 1 pump of resin or 1 pump of hardener. So hopefully that will be a little bit easier. And then this box here, just the different cloth that I got. I got some of this chopped strand, real heavy stuff. I'm gonna put that on first, and then I got some real light woven stuff, and that'll go on second. So, but for now we're gonna get started with the grinder and probably a flap disc or something and start sanding on the bottom of that. Okay, we got this side pretty much sanded down. I'm gonna go back over it probably with the DA once I get done, because the grinder is leaving some little divots in it. I'm trying to go as smooth as I can. Not that I think that'll matter too much, but yeah, this side's pretty much done. Now I'm gonna move over the middle, and this side had a bunch of bare fiberglass already, so we'll have to sand off the fiberglass that we put on because it's not stuck great. But yeah, so we'll get this side to look like this side, then I'll probably smooth the whole thing out, and then we'll come up here and clean all this up and try to get this crack fixed, and then it'll be about ready to start over and do the fiberglass again, and hopefully it'll stick this time. Alright, I got all the gel coat off, or mostly all the gel coat off of the fiberglass. I cleaned this aluminum up here and scuffed it up real good so it'll stick better. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all cleaned up now. Got some acetone. I'm gonna get all the dust off of here that I can, and then we'll get started laying out our fiberglass, which will be a little trickier now since I can't lay it up there to cut it, but it should be okay. Probably gonna get me some more of my glue, and I'm gonna shove it in this crack here because there was water running out. Not that it should matter once it's fiberglass, but I like a little extra. So we'll get started and get this cleaned up. Okay, I've got this here all cleaned up, getting ready to start mixing up the epoxy. I've got the pumps. This one here, I had to cut it off because it's too long because I guess it's the same one they use for all their kits. But getting ready to get the pumps in. Then they say you got to bleed the pumps out to make sure you get all the air out of the pump. And then just 1 pump of hardener, 1 pump of resin. Before I do that, I'm going to get my fiberglass mat out and start cutting it to fit what I want on the bottom here. Okay, we got our 3 layers of the chopped strand mat laid out here to go on the bottom of the boat. I'm going to do 3 layers of this and probably 3 layers of the woven stuff over top of it. Don't know that it needs to be that much, but that's what it's going to get. Going to do this first and then let that cure probably, and then sand it back and put the other stuff on because it's a little hot in here, and I don't know that I'd have time to get 6 layers put on before this stuff got hard. So it is a slow hardener, which takes 20 minutes to set, but that's if it's 75 degrees and it's about 90 or so today. So we're going to get these bottles set up, get the air bled out of the pumps, and then hopefully we'll get started laying some of this on here. Okay, I got some poured in here. Said to mix it for 2 minutes. So okay, that should do it. Now we'll go under the boat, which I don't know that you'll be able to see, but we'll start brushing this on and then get our first piece put up there. Alright, we moved the boat. As you can see, now it's sitting on its side, so it's easier to get to because I was just dripping resin all over my pants. So we got it up here. We got 1 layer of the chopped strand on there for today. Gonna let that set up, make sure it gets hard because I'm having trouble with my resin. It's supposed to be real simple, but the first stuff went off in like 8 minutes and it was supposed to be like 20 minutes. So it would be a little faster because of the weather, but didn't think it'd be less than half the time. So gonna let that set up overnight, make sure it gets hard, and then we'll go back, get some better brushes and rollers, and try to get the other 3 or 4 layers on there tomorrow. Okay, the first layer is on. This is the next morning. It's dried up. I went ahead and hit it with the DA, and a couple of these spots here there was big bubbles under it, so I went ahead and ground those off so that they didn't get air trapped under them. I'm gonna clean this off with some acetone, and then I'm going to get started and try to get the next piece laid up there. I got some new brushes today, so hopefully it'll go on a little bit better. Also, because I had trouble with this area here laying out with this chopped strand, I don't know if it's because it's thicker or just not as flexible as the other stuff, I'm going to go ahead and cut a slit down the middle of it, so hopefully I can get it to lay out better and not get big bubbles underneath it. Got the second piece up on here. I didn't record putting it on because it's an aggravating process whenever all the stuff is just running down the boat and dripping on the floor. So this piece is still a little tacky. Gonna let it set up a little longer. Got to get all this fingers cleared off, and then we're gonna go back over it with the woven mat. So yeah, we've tilted the boat some more, so now it's basically straight up on its side. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier to get these next pieces on, so I'm not running so much off on the floor. Okay, I got our first layer of the woven cloth up here. Got it taped on. Luckily it's actually solid enough you can tape it. The other stuff just falls apart. So now I'm going to take my marker. I'm going to trace around the pump and trim back what I don't want up here. It'll go kind of like that. So we can get this piece ready to go. The other side, I've sanded it to smooth it out just a little bit. So it's about ready to get another layer put right on top. I'm gonna cut this one out, and then I'll just cut one more. I'm not gonna lay it out up here, but I'm just gonna cut it out about 1 inch bigger all the way around so that it's feathers out when I go to sand it a little bit. And hopefully this stuff soaks up the epoxy or doesn't take as much epoxy resin so that it isn't quite as much of a pain to put on as the other stuff. Alright, got our epoxy in the cup here. Mixing it up about a minute, minute and a half. Hopefully get these last 2 layers put on all at once, so then we can let this cure. Maybe be ready by next weekend to get in the water. Alright, this is the second layer of the woven stuff put on here. It didn't work very well at all. I couldn't get it to go into these corners, so this is all going to have to get cut back out because there's just big gaps, and then this up here wouldn't lay in this crack. So I'm not sure what the difference is between this mat and the stuff I used the first time, because it went right in there, or if it's just because the boat's on its side and it's not upside down. So I'm going to come in here and grind all this stuff out all the way up to the transition here, and then all the way back to about there, and then it starts to kind of stick. So I'm going to leave this piece on the nose, but I'm just going to take out about 2 inches here and figure something else out, I guess. But the weekend's over, so that's going to do it for this video. Sorry I didn't get anything accomplished, but hopefully by the next time you see it, we'll have this fiberglass stuff figured out, and I can actually get on with painting the bottom of this thing and be ready for the water. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.